Approaching the halfway point of the USL Championship regular season. A big one today in Leesburg, Virginia, as Loudoun United welcome Detroit City FC. Happy to have you with us on ESPN+. Alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. These two teams both had scorching starts to the season, had them out near the top of the table. They both cooled off over the last few weeks, but still, because of their hot starts, Loudoun sitting in third, Detroit City FC sitting comfortably still in fifth. Loudoun had a measuring stick game last game, Ricky, and they passed that test against Charleston Battery.
Ryan Martin was really pleased with his performance put forth by his side. He said both teams want to play attacking style of football, and particularly for Loudoun in the final third, they had a lot of chance creation. So they grew some success and they grew some confidence. So expect this Loudoun United side to pick up right where they left off here at home against a Detroit City side that's struggling.
And they had to come from behind in that game. It was Myers scoring that goal early on for Charleston, and Moses Nyman coming back in the second half to tie that one at 1. This team, though, continues to go as Abdelatif Abukora goes.
Abdelatif Abukora is quickly becoming a star in this league. The ability to come underneath and play in between lines, but he's taken that next step in his progression. He's shown that he's a clinical finisher, can score every single type of goal in the book. Look for him to score, to create a lot of goal-scoring opportunities here for Loudoun if they want to pick up 3 points here at home.
I mentioned it before. Both these teams started hot. They both cooled off as of late, particularly so on the Detroit City side. To 2020. It is a full slate of action this evening in the USL Championship, and it all starts right here with Loudoun and Detroit City.
Meet Bob.
Did you sign up for your boating class?
Nah, I gotta learn how to swim first.
Meet Abisola.
New shoes?
They are a lifestyle.
They fell in love and now have a blended family.
You are a bad influence.
You're welcome.
Life isn't always easy when cultures collide.
Hey, Auntie.
But they can always count that Abisola loves Bob.
Everything's gonna be great.
And Bob hearts Abisola.
Weekdays at 7 on DCW 50.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
What kind of future do you want? You have something worth fighting for.
Failure is not an option. Anyone? Just a second, Bradley. Anyone?
On this field, winners are born.
Hold on to your butts.
I know who did it.
I know why.
My thing's bigger.
Shut up.
Settle up, partner.
Here goes nothing.
Get your game on.
Thanks for coming after me.
We look forward to our very bright future.
Meet Bob.
Did you sign up for your boating class?
Nah, I gotta learn how to swim first.
Meet Abisola.
New shoes?
They are a lifestyle.
They fell in love and now have a blended family.
You are a bad influence.
You're welcome.
Life isn't always easy when cultures collide.
Hey, Auntie.
But they can always count that Abisola loves Bob.
Everything's gonna be great.
And Bob hearts Abisola.
Weekdays at 7 on DCW 50.
Rains came and soaked this field before players came out for warm-up. Supposed to be some weather throughout the day, but sun is out now as the players take the field here at Segra Field. Let's meet the starting lineup brought to you by VSI, beginning with Loudoun United.
Everything going forward will come through Florin, Velo, and Nyman. That relationship needs to be spot on. Velo would have the freedom to push up and down. Nyman will be that single pivot. If they can get their balance right, that allows that front three to be really aggressive and very expansive, with Zach Ryan leading the line underneath Abukura and Riley Bidois.
On the other side for Detroit City FC, Danny Dichio not putting Darren Smith in the starting lineup. He is available on the bench, but their leading scorer, they're going to have to replace that somehow.
Again, that middle three between Morris, Daniel, Sheldon, and Rudd, that relationship, understanding the spaces that they want to occupy. Morris is going to have their freedom to go and search the game, and you want Connor Rudd to stay as high as he possibly can to occupy the center backs, to allow Cedeno just to provide the width, and Matt Sheldon up and down on the right-hand side.
Loudoun left to right in the red. Detroit City right to left in the white and green. Referee today, Abdu Ndiaye. Good thing about the rains, it did cool things off. We were in the upper 80s. Rains came through, now sitting at 79 degrees. Perfect weather for now for some soccer as we're underway here at Segra Field. Happy to have you with us on ESPN Plus alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Again, emphasis on the for now. Thunderstorms in the area. Hope to get this one in unscathed, but not up to us. First meeting of the season between these two sides. Last year it was 0-0 when these teams met here. A 2-1 Detroit City win in Detroit. And since Detroit City came into USL Championship back in 2022, Loudoun have never beaten them. 4 Detroit wins, a couple of draws as well. So Loudoun looking to do something they've never done, beat this Detroit City side. Mensah gets there ahead of Florian Velo. The pressure here, though, to win it from Zach Ryan. His goal tally is down this year, Zach Ryan. Just 2 goals, 3 assists compared to what was 10 goals last season, 10 goals the year before. But it's moments and plays like that where he's still doing a lot of the dirty work, the selfless work that's helping out others around him.
Zach Ryan is one of, if not the most underrated striker in all of USL Championship, because he can do a little bit of everything. You talk about his goal scoring record right now, it hasn't been what we come to expect, but he does a lot of the little things, being able to bring in his teammates, his work rate, the first line of pressure for Ryan Martin. He's a complete number 9, Zach Ryan is.
Carlos Saldana, you see there, getting the ball back into play. That's something of note as well. We've had the focus so far on Darren Smith not being in the starting 11 for Detroit City today. Carlos Saldana, if you remember last year, he was the guy that really pushed Nate Steinwasser, and Nate Steinwasser was long a fan favorite for Detroit City, but Saldana pushed him, and Saldana ended up, for large stretches of last season, taking that starting role. The assumption, I think, coming into this year was that it would be his job, but in comes Carlos Herrera over from Monterey Bay. He's taken control of the job until now. 3 starts all came early in the season for Saldana. Over the last couple of months, it's been Herrera, with Saldana starting Open Cup and Jägermeister Cup. And that changes today, with Saldana coming back into the starting lineup.
Good problem to have if you are Danny Dichio. 2 goalkeepers.
It is, but at some point, though, you figure last year with Steinwasser and Saldana, and this year with Herrera and Saldana, is there something to just picking one and sticking with it and getting that rhythm? I feel like you could look at that one both ways.
Both ways. 2 things can be true, Joe.
That's true. The good problem to have part is, I think there's plenty of teams around the league where, whether it was Steinwasser last year or these 2 keepers this year, would start on a lot of other teams without question. At some point, for consistency's sake. Abdelatif Abukura has been plenty consistent, switching here for Keegan Tingy.
Wide parts of the field is something that Ryan Martin and I had a conversation about how they would approach this Detroit City side. Would they play and bait out their wide parts to play in behind, or just try to pin them back to open up real estate for Abukura, for Tingy to play in between the lines? He said, no, we want to be the team that gets on the ball. We want to be the team that pins back the opposition. So expect this Loudoun side to move the ball from east to west, to really ask some questions of the shape of Detroit City.
In this lull right now, Detroit City, they've continued for the most part to stick to their defensive principles, but when you unlock them, they've been susceptible to let a few in at once. We saw it even in Jägermeister Cup against a lower division side in Portland Hearts of Pine, as Tingy slots it through, dummied by Velo, and they earn their first corner of the match. This is an IBEW Local 26 corner kick. Ryan Martin looking on, hoping for a quick start here for the group. A new father, Ryan Martin.
This is an IBEW Local 26 corner kick. Loudoun United, IBEW Local 26. Empower your future.
First corner for the home side. And it's dealt with well for now by Detroit City. Blasted back in. Saldana no trouble in the end. Nyman battling Williams. Taken back by Loudoun. Controlling the first few minutes here. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball free to play. Download now. So much width, as you mentioned before, for this Loudoun side. The look they show, and the likes of Abukora, Betoit, Tingy, and Awuap, the wing backs and the wingers, just so much space opened up.
Just have a real balance between this Loudoun United side, the way that they approach the game. We talked about the wide parts of the field, but in doing that, that allowed central locations to open up. Great ball here.
Tingy again in one of those wide channels, cuts it back, well done. Tingy, Florian Velo took a deflection on his service. Amu Mensah heads clear. Villanueva careless.
6 minutes in, Detroit City having a really difficult time just eluding this initial pressure set forth by Loudoun. So if you are Danny Deacon, you're looking at your three center backs, Abu Mensah, Michael Bryant, and Shane Wheat, just to be cleaner, bypassing that first line into Gaston, into Ryan Williams.
While they've continued for the most part to maintain their defensive integrity, as you're talking about a moment ago for Detroit City, it's the goal scoring that has really shut off during this drought. Again, haven't won a game since all the way back on April 26, 1-0 at home against Pittsburgh in the Jägermeister Cup. They followed that with a 2-2 draw against Indy. Then they were shut out by Chicago Fire in Open Cup, shut out by Hartford in regular season play, scored 1 against Birmingham, 1 against Charleston, 2 in that Jägermeister Cup game against Portland, and then shut out last game against Pittsburgh. Darren Smith has been holding up his end of the bargain with 7 goals in league play. He's on the bench today. They really haven't had anybody step up as that secondary goal scorer. Tingy. It's caught between two minds, hesitated, Villanueva wins it back. Williams. We look up and down the lineup here for Detroit City with Smith on the bench. Connor Rutz has 2. Ben Morris, Jesse Cedeno, they each have a goal. On the back line, Michael Bryant has 1, and so too does Villanueva. So you add it all up between Villanueva, Bryant, Cedeno, Morris, and Rutz. All those players combined, the only guys in the lineup today with goals for Detroit City combined less than Darren Smith has.
That's not good enough, especially with the talent that Detroit City has on this roster. They've scored 15 goals, but they've also allowed 15 goals in 2025. And that's something that we haven't come to expect for Detroit City since they've made the move to the championship. They're always a team that was really organized defensively, going to outwork you, very difficult to break down. But since they started to leak goals, they're having a really difficult time sticking the ball in the back of the net as well.
Tough to do anything right now where you're not seeing much of the ball. Loudoun continuing to control it in the early portion here. From a neutral's perspective, it's been enjoyable to watch this year, this Loudoun side. For the first time really having cohesion year to year, and not much of a roster churn for Ryan Martin. It's helped their success. Turnover though. Morris, plenty of space here for Villanueva. Alex Villanueva on his preferred left foot, cuts it in. Still Villanueva off the post. First true dangerous moment belongs to Detroit City. Nothing comes of it in the end but a throw for Loudoun.
Fantastic bit of play here from Connor Rutz as he picks up this ball essentially as he just twists and turns, allows Villanueva to be really aggressive on this near side. And now this is just 1v1 abilities, reading the space that Turner's coming into this. Almost wrong foots Faroon, finds that top corner. Great action for Detroit City.
Villanueva is still just 22 years of age. I feel like he's been around this league forever, going back to 2019 with Tacoma Defiance. He's continued to flash year in, year out, and improve and grow as a player. Tingy. Nyman. Giannis Learman stepping through. Feeds ahead for Riley Bedouin. Shot for a handball there from Loudoun. Might have been outside the box anyway, in any event. No VAR, so the corner result it'll be.
Really good run here from Bedouin. It's actually the center back, Learman, showing how comfortable he is with the ball at his feet. Starts essentially off the shoulder of Amu Mensah. Wins a dangerous set piece here for Loudoun.
Another IBEW Local 26 corner for Loudoun United. Local 26, empower your future. Bedouin earning this corner for the home side. Only his second start of the season. He's been the trusted option off the bench. 11 appearances overall, just one start coming into the day. Bukora's corner drifts in the wind and out for a goal kick.
Will beings from another world come to Earth?
How long's a galactic year? 250 million years.
Or could aliens live among us already? The Big Bang Theory.
Weeknights at 6 on DCW 50.
11 minutes gone so far here at Seger Field in Leesburg, Virginia. Glad to have you with us on ESPN Plus alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Scoreless between these sides. Best opportunity belonged to Detroit City a moment ago. Alex Villanueva pinging it off the post.
That's a risky run if you are Loudoun United. Yes, you want to play expansive football. Yes, you want to make the field as big as you possibly can. But if you're not clean in possession and you give the ball over cheaply, you leave yourself exposed. Exhibit A with Villanueva almost finding that top corner.
Saldana. Sold by Cedeno. Clever player in the pocket. Cedeno goes wide. Sheldon feeding it through, deflected, and out for a corner. Sheldon is somebody who has not started yet this season for Detroit City. He's played 3 games. He's played 6 minutes. That's in league play only. He's seen some more time in cup competition. But the 32-year-old, nearing a decade spent in this league, gets his first start of the season here today.
That Sheldon gives you a work rate up and down that far side, never in question with terms of his effort. He's a locker room guy for Danny Dicchio. And you talked about the experience. Look for him, especially on the road, a reliable source for Detroit City.
On a day like this, too, what he brings in terms of between the ears and just a soccer IQ on the same side as Abukora, slowing him down defensively. Can't keep up with him, I don't think, physically, but it can help in terms of the experience. Short from the corner, now whipped in. Mensah, Villanueva. You see a left-sidedness to the attack for Detroit City with Villanueva as he bends this one in. Header comes back across to 6. Faroux with it.
Really clever header here from Ben Morris. Just notice the movement of Connor Rutz. You need to make an opposite as Ben Morris pulls to that far post. Continue towards that near post. There's only one place that this ball is going to be knocked down because Matt Sheldon is right there. Faroux comes up quickly and realizes the danger, but that secondary action when you have 2 players high up the field for Detroit City will be crucial.
Tommy McCabe dropping onto the back line here today for Loudoun. Learman looking through. Nyman back for Bidois. Ryan starts his run. Bidois was looking that way. Tingy floating it that way. Ryan never could get off the ground. Awua centering. Abukora left it. He thought somebody was behind him. Nobody was. Contact there, and it goes against Awua and his hand fighting.
Clever little ball here from Awua, as this whole back line for Detroit City doing a good job at getting into the defensive set, but notice how they retreat. So the space is about 7 yards out. That's when you need Abukora to be a little bit more ruthless, to take it on himself, to take a first touch. Really ask some questions of Detroit City. So Daniel doing his defensive duties to win a set piece, going back the other way.
Referee stops play here. Man down for Detroit City in the middle of the park. Jesse Cedeno feeling at that right leg as Nyman ran by.
So you talked about the pocket presence of Cedeno for Detroit City, a player that likes to combine with his teammates and really makes the attacking phase tick for Danny Dicchio. The player that you need to get involved early and often, especially away from Keyworth Stadium.
It's interesting, Detroit City hasn't really had that same lopsidedness in terms of their record home and away this year. 1-1-2 at Keyworth, as you mentioned. It's such a difficult place to play, and they're always so good there. 3-2-3 on the road, so they've shown a much better knack for picking up results on the road this year than in years past, but it's also come with not quite as much success at home, though they haven't played a ton of home games yet, just the 4 so far. Bodes well for them later in the year when they'll have stretches of more home games. So far this year, they played twice as many road games as they have home games. That'll flip at some point, and that's where they can really rack up the points. And that's why I think there really isn't a panic right now about this team. We came on the air saying they will start as one of the hottest teams in the league. They've cooled off, and yet here they are still in 5th place. When you take all that into context, and then you see that they have to catch up and make up all those home games still where they've been so dominant over the years. You're sitting in 5th, you're still in a good spot.
Sense of calmness for this Detroit City side. Another year of experience from players, and the core has been there for Danny Dicchio, able to come from one season to the next, able to create an identity and a culture around how he wants to go about his business. So that's why I don't think it's a surprise that we see them find some success away from Keyworth, and now not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they start to right their wrongs when playing in front of their home fans.
Winless in all competitions over the last 7. That could, in many circumstances, be a cause for concern. It is something that caused Vegas to fire a coach this week and Oakland to fire a coach last week, but it's just a different sort of feel to this stretch right now for Detroit City. There isn't any panic. There is no real cause for concern. Again, buoyed by their hot start, knowing what lies ahead, and even so, in this stretch, they've had some extenuating circumstances. Some of those defeats, one's in Open Cup against an MLS side, one is with a rotated squad in Jägermeister Cup. Tight games, a couple of draws in that span in league play. They've never looked out of place, as maybe Vegas did in their stretch and led to their change, but not in this case here for Loudoun, or rather for Detroit City in a similar drought. To chip it through to Abukora. Cole Turner. Good to see him back out there. Cole Turner making just his 4th start of the season. Last year was limited to 15 minutes for Loudoun. After in 2023 he was a regular starter. 17 starts, 10 of those as the captain. Injuries have not been kind to Cole Turner. Learman celebrates a 27th birthday tomorrow, Giannis Learman. And he switches for Awua out of play.
When building out, Loudoun United is flipping in between a back 3 and a back 4. Florin Velo has the freedom, bottom of your screen, just to go and search the game. He's pushing a little bit deeper, so that allows Tommy McCabe to push centrally. So that just gives the confidence for Ryan Martin and his experienced players to go and give the game. That's really close. You see Ben Moore essentially almost tries to pick it off. You cannot have or afford that if you're Loudoun United. Really sloppy when building out of the back.
Nyman. Contact there. It'll be a free kick here for the home side. USL on ESPN2 gives us a Western Conference match between Lexington SC and last season's championship winner, Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. That's Friday, June 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2.
Really interesting location here for Loudoun. Sometimes it's not the initial ball, it can be the secondary action that can really hurt teams. Either go short or put this thing into the mixer for Tommy McCabe.
From that distance and that central location, there's not much you can do. Although now from almost the same spot that the free kick was, after he got the ball back, he did play it in, and it's over the head of Velo.
Just misreads this here, Florian Velo. He makes a really good run off the shoulder of Amu Mensah. And he's a player, much like Tommy McCabe, that Ryan Martin has utmost trust in, ability to do a little bit of everything.
A goal and 5 assists this season for Florian Velo, already matching last season's assist total with 5. Danny Dicchio looking on. Second year as the head coach here for Detroit City.
Just relentless pressure right now for Loudoun United. Notice how many numbers they have forward. Nice little layoff.
Cedeno slipping it through. Spin took it the wrong way. Always trickling away from Sheldon.
And that is the problem, the balance that you need to find if you are Ryan Martin. If you do want to press high, you need to do it in unison. You cannot allow gaps to open up. We just see how good Detroit City is playing into Connor Rutz and having runners off of him.
Space for Gasso. Dominic Gasso gets the return from Rutz. Out to Villanueva. They'll typically show some left side dominance, Detroit City, but especially on a day like this where it's Sheldon in a spot start down that right side. This one bounces through, though, favorably for Detroit City, and they make it count! Ben Morris gives the visitors the lead with his second of the season.
First time that we've seen Detroit City string some passes and grow some confidence in that final third. It starts centrally, and it starts with the composure of Cedeno just to recycle. And notice the redirection here of Ben Morris, how quickly he anticipates where this ball is going to pop up, picks out Turner and sees Connor Rutz, says, I see you, I don't need you, and just hammers this right through the legs of Farouk. Technical ability at its finest here from Ben Morris. Starts centrally, peels off the corner, and notice his head down, laces through it to the back of the net. Detroit City in the lead here on the road.
Didn't look like Cole Turner got a clean read on that one. Off the deflection, he just stood flat-footed and watched. It seemed like he thought it was spinning all the way out toward Tommy McCabe, and then ended up splitting the difference, bouncing perfectly into the path of Ben Morris. Sometimes the breaks go your way. You still have to make it count, though, after it falls to your feet, and Ben Morris made no mistake. That's more like it for Detroit City. Earlier, you and I talked about not having enough secondary scoring. It's the 7 goals for Darren Smith, 2 for Connor Rutz, and then a few guys with 1 each, and that included Ben Morris, now his second. But last year, 10 goals for Ben Morris, and you wondered coming into this year, as some players departed and some players came in for Detroit City, where that would leave Morris positionally, what his role would be, would the numbers be the same? So far the answer has been no, but you know that's in his bag. You don't score 10 goals in this league by accident. He had 10 last year.
Never question the quality of Ben Morris, the ability to find the back of the net and pick out his teammates. Has a really good feel being at the right place at the right time, and just exhibit his finish, just ruthless how he hammers it to that back post. So now if you are Danny Dicchio, you're hoping this momentum continues to grow here at Segra Field.
How does Loudoun respond now? They went down last game at home against Charleston in the second half. Falling behind 1-0 before Moses Nyman tied it later on in that second half. Back here for Abukora, off the barb, stayed out. Tingy underneath, Tingy served off the line! Amu Mensah flying through. Carlos Saldana owes flowers to the crossbar, a dinner to Amu Mensah, and it remains 1-0 Detroit City.
A steak dinner at that, Joe. What a recovery this is from Amu Mensah. The ability to read where Saldana is and just play as a secondary goalkeeper. But this is all about the positioning here from Abukora. First touch out of his body, just tries to open up his hips. But just a reaction, the ability to put his body on the line, Amu Mensah. Fantastic work from an experienced center back for Detroit City to keep the lead intact on the road.
It doesn't get better than that defensively. The instinct to get back, the wherewithal to know how that situation was unfolding. Feels like whenever a post is hit or a crossbar is hit too, players just naturally freeze because it's a shocking moment inherently. In that split second, is it bouncing in, is it bouncing out, what's going on, what's behind me, you don't know, you're facing the wrong way. So through all of that, to still make a play like that for Amu Mensah shows his value, his experience that he brings to that back line. Detroit City taking this as a hydration break. Loudoun seems like they feel okay. Everybody stayed in position for Loudoun. Everybody went over to the sideline for Detroit City.
I'm going to look at this opportunity here. Abukora, notice how he just stays his ground and finds a nice little pocket of space. Takes a little bit of a deflection, but Amu Mensah, the ability to just pinch back underneath Saldana and use his body to keep this lead in favor of Detroit City.
Great play by Tingy, though. Just going back to what I said, in that moment, it's a rush of blood to the head. You're just reacting quickly when a ball hits the post like that. The wherewithal to take that touch underneath and then set it up on your left foot while all the chaos is going on around you. You just tip your cap to Amu Mensah if you're Tingy and say, nice save. Doesn't help me out, but good for you guys.
King and Ting does everything right. Just Amu Mensah is that much better than that last action.
What was your first look at what Abukora can do? He was quiet for the first 25 minutes of this game. 8 goals, 1 assist this season, and what's been his true breakout. There have been moments, flashes, stretches of games the last couple of years where you could see the special qualities that he brought. It wasn't until this year, after he took some time abroad in the offseason training alongside the likes of Christian Benteke and other pros over in Dubai, that he really took his game to a different level, both mentally and physically. It seems like he won't be long for a USL Championship over the last couple of years. We've seen plenty of players sold on to Europe, and by all accounts and reports around the league, it seems like he might be the next name. Had a chance to catch up with head coach Ryan Martin on USL All Access a couple of weeks ago and ask him directly, look, don't give us a team, don't get yourself into trouble as to where he may go, but is there a country that suits his playing style where you think he would thrive in the next move, as they have a free kick on the way? And he pointed to Spain, the Netherlands, and France as the 3 where he thinks the game would thrive for Abukora.
Good work here from Zach Ryan, another part of his game that's just so underrated. The ability to play with his back to goal requires so much attention and really clever. When Sean Wheat just a bit overzealous to win a dangerous set piece. Just going back to Abukora, just a technical ability to cut above the rest in USL Championship, the ability to read the game, and that translates well into the countries that you mentioned.
One thing Ryan Martin said, just maybe in terms of the physical nature, a place like England or Germany maybe wouldn't suit his style and his skill set, but some of those other countries, also through Belgium in there, just would give him a chance to really thrive. Even mentioned Italy in passing, just those countries where it's more about tactical ability and finesse really would be places where he can thrive. We'll see what he can do on this free kick. Overshoots it. Detroit City heads it clear, but not clear enough. Tommy McCabe could keep it alive. Below, corner on the way. It's the 3rd corner now for Loudoun. Brought to you by IBEW Local 26. Empower your future. It'll be interesting how this goes now for Abukora. Obviously, the summer transfer window coming up. We've seen it over the last couple of years where players would get sold in that window but then be loaned back to their team for the remainder of the season. Last year in Charleston with Marcanic, that exact situation unfolded. Getting into those months now where those moves could be on the horizon. Have to wait and see. From from the corner, Abukora flicked on. And they will do it again after some discussion between the officials. Saw an irate Cole Turner. He seemed pretty convinced it took a deflection. In the end, the referee's convinced as well.
Just trying to whip this ball into a near post, and the responsibility of Turner just to flick it on and cause some chaos.
Looking back post this time, Saldana punches. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Rains seem to be starting to draw near again. Mist coming down and sent some fans for some cover as we hit the half-hour mark here in this first half. Goal came courtesy of Ben Morris 10 minutes ago now for Detroit City, giving them this 1-0 lead on the road. Glad to have you with us here this evening on ESPN Plus with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Full slate in the USL Championship this evening. This one the standalone for the first hour. 12 total matches. Another 4 of them kicking off in the 7 p.m. hour.
Second time that we've seen Ben Morris pop off of that back line of Loudoun and come centrally.
And this sends us to our official hydration break here in this first half. After the rains came, thought they might have scrapped this. Temperatures did go below 80. But I guess once they agreed to it pregame, might as well keep it. I don't think Loudoun would complain about it right now because it's an opportunity for the coaching staff to relay some messages to the group. They've had moments in this first half, Loudoun, and try and get that goal back, especially after they went down against Detroit City, but haven't been able to convert yet.
Meet Bob. Meet Abishola. Life isn't always easy when cultures collide.
Hey, Auntie.
But they can always count that Abishola loves Bob, and Bob hearts Abishola.
Weekdays at 7 on DCW 50.
And Morris, author of that goal for Detroit City, his second of the season. Danny Dichio's group haven't won a match in any competition since April 26th. There's been some games where it looks like a lopsided goal total that they've allowed, but it's been just lapses here or there, 10-minute stretches where things have gone awry. They've overall been pretty buttoned up still defensively, as has been the case for them the last couple of years. So now what can they do on the road with a 1-0 lead? 1-0 deficit was not daunting last week for Loudoun. Charleston, one of the top teams in the league, coming here to Segra Field. They took a 1-0 lead. Loudoun came back to tie it. It finished 1-1. Find themselves in a similar situation here tonight. I think the hydration break comes at a good time for Detroit City. It's right before this last dozen-minute kick to end this first half. You just had those 2 really great opportunities for Loudoun, the crossbar hit and the save off the line from Amu Mensah. You just give Loudoun an opportunity to talk things over and maybe refocus here and try to find that equalizer before half. And if they do, that changes the momentum and the complexion of this one entirely going into the break.
If you're Danny Dichio, you want to continue with the game and the fluidity that you've started to create, especially in that final third. We've seen Ryan Williams do a good job playing centrally and connecting that back to front. Ben Morris's movement has been the difference, whether it is popping in, the way that he turns Cole Turner on his goal as well. So if you're Danny Dichio, the message is to pick up right where we left off for Detroit City. And for Ryan Martin, you're looking at Nyman and Florian Velo just to dictate the tempo a little bit more and play this game on the terms that Loudoun wants to do and creating overload centrally.
Ooh, almost got there. Well done by Sheldon to skip over the top of him. Gasso. Bryant will look long. Nice Learman shielding, and nobody got a touch to it there, just out for a goal kick.
Just not enough space for Michael Bryant to play that ball in behind. Good recognition from Learman just to drop in and do his defensive duties and use that end line as a secondary teammate.
Looking long for Zach Ryan. He'll get there. Ryan. Abukora. Having Tommy McCabe on this back line. Ball at his feet now gives him an advantage in possession. So much comfort from McCabe stepping up into the midfield when they do have the ball.
McCabe just gives the fluidity, right? So in possession, he's gonna pop off into that middle third, which allows Point Below to be a little bit more aggressive. So that give and take mentality, that's a really good ball here.
Abukora facing forward. Great tackle put in. Now long from Cedeno. Off his line, Farouk going on an adventure here. Still Hugo Farouk. And they'll finally decide to just lay it off to Tommy McCabe. Gotta get back in goal though. Looks like he's walking a 5K all the way back to his goal area. Abukora slipping it through. Ryan stumbling. There's some contact there from Michael Bryant.
Starting to see Abukora coming centrally and find a little pocket to space off the shoulder of Gasso and Williams. And that is when he is at his best, because the whole game starts to open up. And we've seen the movement of Zach Ryan making those slashing runs. You can find that on a consistent basis. Now you can start to find some real success for Ryan Martin.
Sun peeking back through some of the clouds here. Weather certainly has been and will continue to be a factor. Very slick surface. Looking through for Bedois. The worst of it is supposed to, if you want to listen to the radar and take a peek at it, it's supposed to come through around 7:45. You start doing some quick math, that puts us right around the 75th minute. So close yet so far to the finish line for these two teams when the worst of it is supposed to come through. And we hope to get it in, but not something we have control over.
Don't jinx us, Joe.
I'm trying to reverse jinx us here.
Okay, that's
trying to lay out the fact that it doesn't look great for us, and maybe it'll change.
Great run from Cedeno here.
Cedeno wants it on his left foot if he could get it there. Cedeno spinning on that left foot. Cedeno deflected in front, and it's gathered by Farouk. Quick rollout from Farouk. Velo.
Great challenge. Needed to get that challenge right if you are John Wheat, because if you don't, it's a 2v1 going back the other way. And now as this game starts to open up, it plays in favor of Detroit. But Cedeno, Connor Rutz, and Shane Ben Morris, and I love the recognition from Hugo Farouk to go quick and try to be a little bit more transitional into his front line.
Worked out. A double dummy that ends up getting through to Abukora. Abukora going for goal and scores! Give him an inch, he'll take a mile, and we're level at Segra Field.
Since that hydration break, Abukora started to find a little bit of rhythm and areas that he can really operate in. Just so comfortable with the ball at his feet. Not one, not two, but three Detroit City players around him. No problem. The comfortability, and notice how quickly he gets his shot off here. No backlift whatsoever, so that does not allow Sajanian to get his feet set. Great goal. 1-1 here at Segra Field.
Happy accident there. You saw a great look at it in that last low angle between Nyman and Awua. They both shot a glance at each other. It seemed like Nyman was dummying it through, and then Awua wasn't ready for it, so he lets it go through, and it finds Abukora. They're looking at each other. Meanwhile, Abukora takes it and scores. It seems like a pretty good idea for Loudoun this year. Just somehow let Abukora find the ball and he'll do something with it. That's his 9th goal of the season. Try here to get it back for Detroit City. And a save made by Hugo Faroux.
Exactly what Ryan Martin would have wanted after that hydration break for Loudoun United. They settled into the game a little bit more, and it came from a central location. You play wide, and you let Abukor run downhill at his individual defender. Good stuff from Loudoun.
That goal presented by Hanley Energy. Energy management for a digital age. Just like last week, except a lot earlier. Falling behind 1-0, tying it 1-1 here at home for Loudoun United. That's how it would finish last week against Charleston Battery. Currently the 2nd place team in the Eastern Conference. Everybody looking up right now at the still undefeated Louisville City. Abukora, who, by the way, will be taking on this Loudoun team soon enough. June 25th, 11 days from now. It'll be Loudoun against Lou City. Could be a top-of-the-table clash there, and a free kick on the way for Detroit City. First card of the match brandished as well.
Love this decision here from Sedaniel just to push the tempo and continue to be aggressive. Tommy McCabe needs to backtrack and note it's a right leg that just trips up. Sedaniel deserving of a yellow card. Good call from a referee. And big challenge for Tommy McCabe in terms of his discipline for the remainder of this game.
Similar to what we saw earlier on the other side, though, for Loudoun. This isn't the best position free kick. In the central third of the field, from this distance, you're looking for that header across, or you go short. Seems like Williams wants to deliver it into the area. Sedano is there next to him if they do decide to go short. Williams looking for Wheat. And Mensah just took his eye off of it and missed it. I'm going to say it's still a Detroit City throw. All those kids are ready to come out on the field and play at halftime.
Playing the big boy field.
All trying to be like Abdelatif Abukori. He's only about 6 years older than they probably
Crazy
are.
to think about. Good touch.
That ball did stay in. Fourth official and the assistant referee both had a look at it down the line. Sedano on the turn, it's Rutz. Gasso. Sheldon puts his shoulder down, looking end line. A slip in the area from Rutz, who was trying to get back to that ball. And the rains came through heavily before the game, and on this turf surface, you're seeing it have an impact. There's been mists throughout this first half as well. It's continued to remain a very slick track. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus, you hear live matches from the USL, MLS Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Nyman.
In the last 5 minutes, we've seen Detroit City start to get a little bit stretched, especially centrally. And that's exactly what you want if you are Ryan Martin with Florin Velo, Bitois playing underneath Zach Ryan, and now Abukor coming centrally as well. So you create an overload in those areas of the field, which is where you can really hurt Detroit City.
So pokes it through for Williams. Woo up, gets there, wins it. Well done by the 29-year-old from Toronto. McCabe. Ehrman stepping up. Trying to get it through to Tingy. Intercepted by Villanueva. Alex Villanueva continues to carry. He's been dangerous in this first half. Villanueva looking back post. Cedeno trying to get there. And it was flicked along, out for a corner.
Just need a better understanding between Ben Morris and Connor Rutz. Left side of your screen, both players are just too predictable. There's no secondary movement. Both are just running vertically right down the center of the field, which does not allow Villanueva to find any sort of real estate to put this ball in. You need a secondary movement and more ruthlessness from your two attacking players in that last action.
Opportunity now, though, from the corner. About to reach 45 on the clock, waiting for official word on stoppage time. And the word is 3 minutes tacked on. Corner ballooned toward the back post. Amu Mensah kept it in play. Flicked on by Gasso, still loose. Stoppage time brought to you by Novak. Novak's energy-saving tips are a real game changer. Bukora changed this game with his goal to level it at 1. Gasso trying to change it back in Detroit City's favor, but blocked.
Really good box defending there from Loudoun. Watch out here.
Cedeno wins it back. Recovered by Tingy all the way across on the opposite side. Tingy still out of position because of how they set up defensively on the corner, and they will have to do so again. Services have been off so far from Cedeno on the corners today. An opportunity though to get it right. Cedeno, that one was too short. The last one was too long. Needs the Goldilocks one next if he gets another one this half.
Top priority, especially on an attacking set piece on the road. You need to bypass that first line of pressure, that first man. And time after time, Cedeno has not found the success that you expect from him.
Fed through by Cedeno, deflected. Fortunately for Loudoun, nobody in a white jersey making that trailing run on the far post. Responded well, Detroit City, after conceding that leveling goal. Felt in that moment that the game could go either way, and Loudoun might be able to take it and run with the momentum, but Detroit City has restored order ever since. That there's a happier of the two managers going into break here. Pretty neutral for both, barring something else happening in the next 20 seconds.
I think it's been an even first half. Both teams exchanging blows. Both teams really sloppy again from Loudoun, trying to play out of the back. If you are Danny Dichio, due to the result, you're probably the happier of the two. 1-1 against the Loudoun side that's been so good here at home. But for Ryan Martin, you just need to be cleaner. Watch out.
That could change in a moment. Bidwa, Velo, Florian Velo, Abdelatif Abukora! Just like that! 2 on the day for Abukora!
Can start centrally for Loudoun United. You create a little bit of an overload, and you pull out that middle duo of Detroit City, and the whole game will start to open up. And I love the secondary movement from Florian Velo as he pulls wide. He brings in Shane Weech, which allows Abukora a lot of space at this back post. And this first touch is intentional to pop it up, so this allows him to get it on the volley and just put his laces through it and just smack this thing to the far post. No chance for Saldana, and Loudoun United take the lead right into halftime.
On literally the last kick of the ball in this first half. No need to even put it back in the center and have a kickoff here after that goal. 2-1, Loudoun leads. It was 1-0 Detroit City. 2 unanswered from Loudoun in the closing moments of this first half. Give them that lead going into the break. They've never beaten Detroit City in any competition. That could finally change today. Halftime brought to you by Van Meter. More to come from Segra Field.
Will beings from another world come to Earth?
Turn left at Alpha Centauri. You can't miss it.
Watch for signs of hyperintelligence.
How long is a galactic year? 250 million years.
A love for rocketry.
I remember them going up higher.
And the capability to destroy humanity. Or could aliens live among us already? You decide on the Big Bang Theory.
Weeknights at 6 on DCW 50.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
DC News Now is on Roku. Early morning, ready, set, Roku. Afternoon, Roke Us. Evening, overnight, whenever you want, Roke it on Roku. Need your weather? We've got that. Want to see what the community's up to? We've got that too. Looking for ways to stretch your dollar? Roke your savings. Newscasts, features, weather, sports, living local DMV, and custom content just for you on Roku. Search DC News Now today and let's Roku and roll.
You have the power to save. Take charge of your energy bill with these tips from Novec. Adjust your ceiling fans to rotate counterclockwise for warmer weather. Novec also recommends installing a programmable thermostat to avoid cooling your home when you're away. Set your water heater to 120 degrees. Novec is helping members save energy, which means saving money. Harness your savings power. Find more tips and tools at novec.com/save.
Welcome into the halftime show brought to you by Van Meter. A 2-1 lead for Loudoun, striking right at the death of that first half. 45+4. Abdelatif Abukora with his second goal of the week. Could be one of the goals of the week. For now, let's take a look back at the goals and saves of the previous week in USL Championship and League One.
Enjoy from distance, force the save from Matt Levy. That was fired in with pace. The nice moves, lays one across, into long. He does it again. The unstoppable scorer notches the first for Naples.
Began this season 0-4-1 as this is swung in by Armanakis towards the back post. Oh, what a save by Mora!
Balls, and how about that? Marlon Vargas, take a bow.
Week on USL All Access, the greatest striker to ever play in the USL Championship, Cameron Lancaster, joins us, and we will break down their midweek matchup against Rhode Island FC. Is the Player Shield even a race anymore? We're going to give you a look at who our front runners are and who's got a possible outside chance of chasing down those three horses, and an ode to our owners, our general managers, and our presidents. Pay attention, the future is now.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
How does Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water keep you in the game? We always source our water directly from the natural spring to fuel every body, no matter how you like to move it. So whether you're chasing your goals or just staying active this summer, make sure to stay hydrated with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Always bottled at the natural spring source.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way.
Focus!
Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Balm's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
DC News Now, bigger and only getting better.
Join us as we welcome Susan Tran to the DC News Now team.
Decades of journalism experience, a steadfast commitment to community, and an energy we can't wait for.
Susan Tran joins DC News Now, super serving the DMV with Susan Tran at the anchor desk.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on DC News Now.
I don't like that, Ricky. Clouds are getting close. Clouds are dark. Clouds are getting close. Halftime brought to you by Van Meter. We've talked about the weather potentially being on the way throughout the broadcast so far. Seems like it's getting close. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. For now, let's take a look around USL Championship with some news and notes. And it was a very busy week on many fronts across the league. Players signing. I broke a record interleague between League One and Championship with Luis Alvarez to the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Stadium news and coaching news out west.
That just did not work for Antonio Torino and Las Vegas Lights, a team that Dennis Sanchez did such a good job at creating identity, never really took that next step in their progression because that roster is talented. So now the next head coach that comes in will have a lot to work with and a big responsibility. But Sacramento Republic, 12,000 capacity stadium will be fantastic for the league, the addition and the growth of this game yet again in USL Championship.
And if there's one thing we know about Sacramento over the years, they will fill that no problem. And I'd bank on an expansion to 15,000 in the years thereafter. Let's take a look at the schedule coming up on a busy day. 12 games in all. Again, we kick it off here between Loudoun and Detroit City with 12 in all. What catches your eye from the early slate?
I think it has to be Lexington hosting New Mexico. Terry Boss needs a result, especially when they dropped points at Monterey Bay last weekend. Terry Boss is in a lot of trouble with his side because it is a talented roster against a very talented New Mexico side. Tampa Bay, again, a team that is disappointed. They'll be hosting Miami FC. Probably the biggest surprise in 2025, I would say.
Biggest positive surprise.
The
biggest negative surprise is probably Tampa Bay Rowdies in that game on the other side. And continuing to look around the league in the later slate, I think my eyes go to the Switchbacks and the Oakland Roots, two teams that had certainly playoff aspirations coming into the year, reigning champions in the Switchbacks, both below the playoff line right now as they meet tonight.
Benny Feilhaber will be the second head coach in charge under his game for the Oakland Roots against the Switchbacks, a team that is searching for wins, and Las Vegas Lights will host Monterey Bay. Jordan Stewart has done a fantastic job with Monterey Bay, just grinding out results.
So we quickly turn the page then to the midweek as well. A couple of games coming at you on Wednesday and then a trio on Friday. I think the big focus in this one is that Lexington Colorado Springs game. We pointed out both of those teams tonight and what those results could mean tonight. That one's on ESPN2. Is it a desperate Lexington team coming off a win or a loss? Is it a desperate Colorado Springs team coming off a win or a loss?
Take a step further. Mark Briggs coaching against his former side in Sacramento Republic on June 18th at 8 p.m. That's going to be one that you need to circle as well.
We're at that time of the year now where we're starting to see the storylines and the races take shape, and you just take them as they come. We'll take this one in stride, whether it's weather impacted or not, as we go into the second half. For now, it's Loudoun United up 2-1 on Detroit City FC. One thing has been for sure, the impacts of Abdelatif Abukora scoring both. More to come from Seger Field.
DC News Now, the only station focusing on the entire DMV. Reporters in 5 locations throughout the region. A look at weather with a regional approach, so you always know what's ahead. And an unmatched commitment to local news. More community, more breaking news, and more weather coverage for everyone in the DMV. Join Chris Flanagan, Susan Tran, and Janessa Webb. Watch DC News Now tonight at 10 on DCW 50.
Come see what's trending on Karamo. He has deleted 1,938 texts in the last 30 days.
Unlock that phone for me. What's in there that you cannot show me?
See what's taking over everybody's feed.
You did try to gaslight her. You did try to mislead her. You did try to manipulate her. I don't even worry about that at all. This is a lot of chaos from the beginning.
A lot. All season on Karamo.
Weekdays at 3 on DCW 50.
From down below to way up high, there's fun in every layer of Luray Caverns. What will you discover? At Luray Caverns, there's only one thing more timeless than the formations.
Grandma, check this out.
The memories. What will you discover?
Come see what's trending on Karamo. He has deleted 1,938 texts in the last 30 days.
Unlock that phone for me. What's in there that you cannot show me?
See what's taking over everybody's feed.
You did try to gaslight her. You did try to mislead her. You did try to manipulate her. I don't even worry about that at all. This is a lot of chaos from the beginning.
A lot. All season on Karamo.
Weekdays at 3 on DCW 50.
Just about set to kick things off here in half number 2. Loudoun 2, Detroit City 1. It was Detroit City getting on the board first in the 22nd minute, but Loudoun, on the heels of 2 Abdelatif Abukora goals, came roaring back, taking the lead into the break.
And it starts with this bit of play here from Detroit City. Ben Mar's doing a good job at just anticipating and reading the spin of this ball as it falls a bit awkwardly right between 2 center backs, and he just smashes this thing head down. Laces through this ball, the work rate to get there, and the composure to slow the game down, get his body over the ball, and just find that back net. Detroit City in the lead early.
Really, that was not quite even the turning point. It didn't really come until the cooling break for this Loudoun side.
And it started essentially a good ball that goes to the wide parts of the field, and this is Abukora at his best. Just so comfortable going 1v1. He brings in not one, but 2 other defenders, and the quickness that he gets his shot off is just so fantastic. It does not allow Saldana to get set, ties the game, and then he gets his brace. Again, you create the overload essentially. Notice the movement of Fornvelo. He peels off, and that allows Jane Wheat to come across, which allows Abukora a lot of space at this far post, pops it up to himself, so he gives him the ability to hit it first time on the full volley. Technical ability, ruthlessness, brace, and Loudoun take the lead right before halftime.
Enjoy him while you can. I don't know that he'll be in this league much longer. There's been rumblings about a sale, perhaps, whether it's this summer and a loan back or it's in the offseason. It seems like he is ready to take that next jump in his career. Stats really paint a picture that I think echoes the score. Everything has really gone Loudoun's way. Detroit City just happened to capitalize on that one moment when it popped up.
For Detroit City, you're doing a good job of getting yourself into that final third. Now the execution, the quality needs to be a little bit cleaner for Danny Dicchio. So you're looking at Ben Morris, Connor Rutza, Daniel. Those players need to play off of one another a lot better in this second half. But for Loudoun United, if you can get a 3rd goal within the first 10 minutes, you can put this game to bed. But in doing that, Florenvelo and Nyman need to have the balance, essentially, and splitting the difference.
Loudoun right to left in the red. Detroit City left to right in the white. as we're set to kick things off in half number 2. And when the ball is kicked off here, it'll be the first touch of the ball since Abukora's goal. Remember, that was a true walk-off goal in that first half. They didn't even set it back up for a courtesy kickoff in the aftermath. It was the last play of the first half, and he's still all smiles, Abukora, as he flashes the grin to the crowd and has been singing his praises. Abdou Ndiaye, the referee, just waiting for his okay to send us on our way now in this second half. And away we go. Loudoun 2, Detroit City 1. Glad to have you with us on ESPN Plus alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Loudoun trying to do something they've never done. They've never beaten Detroit City. Ever since Detroit City came into the league in 2022. It's been a much different Loudoun side, of course, this year than years past. They'd been bottom dwellers. Not the case this year. Six previous meetings between these sides. 4 Detroit City wins, 2 draws. Sheldon, dangerous curling ball in, but ends up over the head of Rutz. They do have Darren Smith to turn to. Remember, in this second half, Detroit City, their leading scorer, 7 goals and 11 starts this season. On the bench today, a little bit of rotation for Detroit City. Velo clipping through to no one in particular. Abukora deflected back to Saldana.
Really impressive to see Loudoun United, how committed they are to the press. All 10 outfield players in their attacking third right now, 2 minutes into this second half. So Ryan Martin continuing to challenge his side to stay aggressive and try to get that third goal earlier rather than later.
Good news, by the way, while we were in that last commercial break in halftime. Check the radar again. What was supposed to come at 7:45 and perhaps impact the last 15 minutes of this game now says 8:20. We might be okay, Ricky.
So the reverse jinx worked.
It might have.
Hopefully,
I've
been
been trying to lay into it, but don't reverse my reverse now, because that would bring us back to a regular
No more
jinx.
talking about the weather.
Nyman call for this foul. Time to remind you of the yellows out there on the field as he picks up one of his own. The only other yellow belongs to Tommy McCabe on the Loudoun side.
Not what you want if you are Ryan Martin. Player essentially really sloppy here from Loudoun. Handful of the jersey of Connor Rutz. Nyman.
Had that conversation in the first half about Abukora and picking the right move abroad, so it works out for him. But we saw the opposite of that with Nyman. He went to Belgium. It wasn't quite the right fit. In due time, he ended up loaned back to the United States with Real Monarchs and the Real Salt Lake organization, then spent a brief stint in Minnesota, and then completed the circle, coming back here to Loudoun where he started a while ago. They started doing this legacy number this year, Loudoun. Every player assigned a number based on where they were, that you were the 10th player to debut for the club. You were the 120th player to debut for the club. It's interesting seeing a list full of upper 100 numbers for this team because the roster's changed so much over the years. And then you look at Moses Nyman, who debuted in 2019, and his number is 26. So it just shows how he's completed this circle here and come back now, still only 21 years of age, but finally getting some more consistent playing time now in a situation when the coach really believes in him and always has in Ryan Martin.
And that's the key, right? Having a coach that really believes in you and what you're able to bring onto this field. Nice little play here. That's a hard challenge from Gasso.
Gasso, what color is this card? It is yellow. I wasn't so sure for a second with the scissoring motion from behind, but it is just yellow for Gasso.
Just mistimes his challenge here. Gasso, you see Cedeno giving him an earful. There's just no need to try to go into this challenge the way that you do. Bidwell's gone, and I'll tell you what. Left leg studs are exposed coming through the back and really late here. We've seen a different color given for Lease.
Less?
Less. We both looked at each other. but tough challenge nonetheless from Gasso.
Yellow card brought to you by Continental Cards. Continental Cards, elevate your collection. I mean, it checks multiple boxes there. It was late. The studs were exposed. There was a scissoring motion. It was from behind. If you were to have a checklist for what is and what isn't a red card, you're probably starting with those 4 boxes, and you could argue that it ticked all 4 of those boxes. But call made, call stands, no VAR, so we ride with the yellow.
Thankfully, Boutois is able to stand up on his own power here. Would have been a lot worse.
A rare moment that Ryan Martin is not jotting anything down in his notebook. He did pull back the curtain on that, too, in the USL All Access interview from a couple of weeks ago. He is just meticulously taking notes, and he'll go back in his notebook after weeks and months and even years and just see things he jotted down, tactical ideas. He even has notes in there on referee tendencies. So when you have that referee again, you know this one lets this go, this one lets that go, this one's really harsh in this aspect of things. So it is super meticulous. We've always joked, I think you and I the last couple of years, and other of our colleagues as well, you know, is he doodling in there? What is he doing? Well, he's taking notes that have really helped even down to the minutia of the referee tendencies. So Ryan Martin, keep on jotting things down in that book. Ryan, nobody stepping to him, takes his space, plays a nice ball over the top, in behind. Matt Sheldon couldn't get there ahead of Awua, but the pressure yields a corner.
Need more pressure on the ball for Loudoun United. You cannot allow Michael Bryant to pick up his head. He's just too good of a center back that can pick you apart. Set pieces, especially when you're down on the road. Great way for Detroit City to claw themselves back into this game.
Morris drops it back. Cedeno fizzes it through. Shot is in. There was a stumble in the box. Detroit City capitalizes. Michael Bryant level again.
Just comes from the aggressive nature of Michael Bryant initially to put this ball over the top. Loudoun do not do a good job to deal with it. And so Daniel puts this ball in a dangerous area. And this is all about Michael Bryant doing a really good job at beating his individual marker to the spot. Left side of your screen, a lot of chaos between him and Zach Ryan as he fights off his individual marker, gets to the top of the 6-yard box. And as this ball's coming across, all he needs to do is redirect it. Let momentum do its thing and just simply pick out a corner. No chance for Farouk. And just like that, Detroit City tied this game 2-2.
Traveling Detroit City supporters enjoy that one. Just an impressive play all around. The athleticism from Bryant you saw on that look. He was taken down. He slipped, part of it contact, part of it the slick surface. The wherewithal and the quickness to get back to his feet, reposition himself, track the ball, and then do enough to have the finesse and slot that in. Brilliantly done by a center back, mind you, not a striker. Abukora picks up a yellow. And a yellow for Awua coming in the aftermath. 2-for-1 special there. That's 4 yellows now on the side of Loudoun.
This is harsh here from Abukora. Does not see Matt Sheldon whatsoever. There's no ill will. Sheldon's quicker to the ball, just pokes it off of his shoulder. Harsh from a referee to book Abukora there.
For Awua, it was just something he said in the aftermath as he came across.
You see Abukora right there telling Daniel, I have the ball. How can I go out of my way and try to take out Matt Sheldon?
Good fight today from Detroit City to take a lead early on, to see it evaporate, and then to come out swinging the way they did in this second half and tie things up again. We talked in that first half about secondary scoring. Who can step up today in the absence, not true absence, he's on the bench, of Darren Smith. This one centered by Morris, but out of play. Ben Morris scores the goal. Michael Bryant scores the goal. Two guys who had a goal each coming into the day, now with two each. One source more likely than the other. Bryant has had a goal here and there in his time with Detroit City. But a 10-goal season last year for Ben Morris, and only had one so far this year. Need more beyond Darren Smith. It's been a stagnant attack for Detroit City in recent weeks. That's why they haven't won a game in any competition since April 26th. 0-4-3 since then. They've got themselves in position here, perhaps. How do Loudoun respond now? They didn't have the best response to conceding in the first half. It wasn't until the hydration break that they really rallied the troops and got things going. From there, scored 2 goals in the final dozen minutes of the half. Abukora in the 38th, and then 45 plus 4 officially. McCabe. Turner reasserting their control in the possession now. Loudoun. Keegan Tingy methodically worked ahead for Florian Below. Pops it toward the back post. Players tracking, flicked away by Bryant. Aua and Abukora were both lurking.
This part of the game was something that Ryan Martin was very quick to point out on our phone call, saying as Loudoun United is starting to find some success as we take a look at a sub here.
That'll be all for Riley Bedois. He'd typically been coming off the bench this season for Loudoun, just getting his second start in 12 appearances today. And it's their new shiny toy in Hakeem Karamoko who takes the field. A lot of expectations as far as what he can maybe bring here in his loan spell from DC United. That substitution brought to you by Segra. He officially joined on loan on May 30th, the number 10 overall pick in this past year's MLS draft, after a standout sophomore season at NC State. Didn't play much as a freshman, just 3 games total. And last year as a sophomore, broke out with 7 goals and 14 starts in the best conference in college soccer in the ACC.
Just another weapon, Armoko, for Ryan Martin, the ability to play off of Zach Ryan, so that relationship and understanding the spaces and the characteristics off one another will be crucial. As Zach Ryan will say, essentially, Armoko come to feet, but also can dash and run in behind. Then that balance, good move here.
Below ends up called for the foul. He might pick up a yellow for throwing the ball away afterwards as well, and he just did.
A little bit of frustration here from Florian Below. Soft. Does a really good job at just fending off Michael Bryant. And this is what gets him in trouble right here. Exactly what you said, Joe, just throwing the ball over his shoulder. No need from an experienced player like Florian Below. But as Loudoun United is starting to find success in terms of their results and pushing up the Eastern Conference table, teams, especially when they come into Segra Field, they're going to sit a little bit deeper. They're going to sit into a mid to low block. So the next step in the progression under Ryan Martin is how do you deal with different looks in terms of the way that teams are setting up defensively against you. You need more movement. You need the ball to move very quickly. So notice, especially on the top of the line, there's going to be a lot of interchange. There's going to make the field as wide as they possibly can and make runs from deep lying positions to really unlock this Detroit City defensive set.
Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big league, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Loudoun are hoping, as a foul is called here, and the referee didn't quite see the advantage perhaps that Loudoun had. But they're hoping that this loan can be a little more fruitful, as the yellow is shown here to Connor Rutz, hoping this loan spell from DC United could be a little more fruitful than what they got out of Garrison Tubbs back in mid-spring. He came in for what turned out to be just 1 league match and 1 Jägermeister Cup match on loan from DC United. It lasted about a week and a half. DC had a slew of injuries at center back. They recalled him immediately. But for now, for Karamoko, they're hoping there is some runway here and what he can bring. And if he starts getting into a rhythm alongside Abukora, it just adds another layer to this attack for Loudoun. And that yellow brought to you by Continental Cards. Elevate your collection.
Good opportunity here for Detroit.
And they make something of it. Looking through for Morris, but gathered by Farouk.
Good idea here from Connor Rutz, but if you're Ben Morris, you need to sell out and slash across that near post. Because if you do, now you put that man, you go through under some real pressure to make a decision.
Now we're gone, half hour remains. 4 goals split right down the middle. Detroit City took a lead. Loudoun scored 2. Detroit City tied it. Glad to have you with us from Seger Field in Leesburg, Virginia. Alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. Awua playing it through. Zach Ryan, flag stayed down. Ryan hesitates, lays it off. Abukora wants a hat trick. No. Karamoko cutting in. It's blocked. And out for a corner. With Ryan, Abukora, and Karamoko, and Velo pulling the strings with them, this could be fun to watch for Loudoun.
Notice the aggressive nature. 5 attacking players for Loudoun United crashing that final third, and I love the recognition from Awua. Zach Ryan doing a good job at using the momentum to his favor and allowing Abukora and Karamoko to get him to an advanced and aggressive position. Good defending in the end from Detroit City.
Another local 26 IBEW corner for Loudoun United. Empower your future. Velo drops it in. Headed away by Shane Wheat. Back out where it started. Second chance for Velo. Same result. Wheat heading clear. Turner nods it down. And the offside flag came up. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on TUDN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Abukora now sitting on 10 goals. As he comes into your picture, just want to note that because you almost saw him complete his hat trick a moment ago, if not for the block from Amu Mensah. With 10 goals to his name now, he's second in the Golden Boot race, 1 behind Cal Jennings. So if not for that intervention there from Amu Mensah, we're probably talking about a level Golden Boot chase at the moment between Jennings and Abukora, and still time enough for Abukora to find that hat trick tonight.
It's the second time that Devin Amu Mensah has saved a goal for Detroit City. We saw in that first half as he just slotted underneath Saldana, now laying out his whole body to deny Abukora his hat trick. Mensah's had himself a really good game, 63 minutes in.
Elsewhere, 4 other games have kicked off. They did so at the 7 o'clock time slot around USL Championship. Hartford hosting Charleston. The Battery have a 1-0 lead 7 minutes in. That was a goal from MD Myers. Scoreless between Indy and Pittsburgh. Scoreless between Lexington and New Mexico. And Rhode Island with a 1-0 lead at home over North Carolina. Albert Dequap, 18th minute goal, the difference there. Williams ended up losing it. Pardon me, Ryan Williams. Abukora bending it around. Awua knots it back. Ryan, and it's in through the legs of Amu Mensah, who tried another goal line clearance. This time it sneaks through. In a back and forth game, it's Loudoun on top again.
We've seen Awua in this second half be really aggressive from his left wing back position under Ryan Martin, and that provides width, but also gives you another attacking option. Number 6, notice how he just takes off and recognizes the space in behind. Now it comes down to all decision making. Wheat's gonna come across, that allows Zach Ryan to have a secondary action towards the cutback. Composed, unselfish, And for Zach Ryan, getting yourself in a dangerous opportunity, you put it on target, you give yourself a chance, and Loudoun take the lead in the 65th minute.
You feel for Amu Mensah in that moment, considering the two clearances he's had already. The one spectacular diving one, the header away in the first half, that one sneaks through his legs as it caught a piece of his right leg as he tried to clear it. Fortuitous there for Zach Ryan, his third of the season. And right off the kickoff here, Valo wins it on the pressure. Abukora keeps his feet. Abukora keeps possession. Still Abukora saved. That would have been a goal of the year contender for the run alone by Abukora. And now out for another corner.
Continuing their aggressive approach, Loudoun United just scored a goal, continuing to try to hunt the ball in unison, and just good soft feet here from Abukora. Again, requires so much attention, especially century. Notice how he just picks out the ball out of his body, which allows his right foot to come across it, forcing a really good save from Saldana in the end.
Williams still down in the center of the park. Corner coming once he's all right for Loudoun. And back to Zach Ryan for a moment on that goal. He touched on it in the first half. Just he does all the extra things. It's the hustle in the press. It's playing that extra ball to his teammates. It's all of those little things that Zach Ryan does that make him a deserving recipient of that moment there for Loudoun as you take a look back again here at where Williams might have gotten stepped on. But for Zach Ryan, it hasn't been easy to come by this year, the goal scoring. Just 2 after he scored 10 each of the last 2 seasons. Instructions for Abukora from Ryan Martin here in the meantime. Chatting with Ryan, who's wearing that captain's armband. He does so much for and means so much to this team. In his 3rd season now with Loudoun, he's seen a couple of different iterations of this team, from what was still a doormat in 2023 to what was a solid team last year that just waned at the end because they didn't have the numbers and it just faded, to now what is seemingly a genuine contender this year. Ryan's been there through it all.
Done a really good job of just creating an identity in how he approaches this game for Loudoun United. And with the results or lack thereof, as we've seen previously, never wavered. Continuing wanting to play in between lines, creating isolation moments from wide parts of the field, combination opportunities centrally, and he's had the ability to keep a core roster, which given him the opportunity to just layer from preseason, because as they had that affiliation with DC United, just so many rotations, so many different faces in and out of training, really difficult to get in a rhythm. Now we start to see the best side of Loudoun United and Ryan Martin as a coach.
Changes now. It'll be Williams coming out, the injured player. And Connor Rutz will depart as well. Darren Smith will replace Connor Rutz. Abdullah Job will replace Ryan Williams.
Darren Smith is going to give this Detroit City side a real focal point, a real number 9 in terms of his relentless movement, but also the ability to stay really high and just occupy the center backs. Jope's going to be a box-to-box midfielder for Danny Dicchio, and his relationship with Dom Gasso will be crucial with their comeback.
All subs brought to you by Segra. And this corner brought to you by IBEW Local 26. Empower your future. Abukora, out swinger, out for a goal kick. USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Glosso Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Karamoko. He's brought down. Free kick coming in a good spot here for Loudoun.
Difficult to stay with Karamoko when he's going full speed. Little drop of the shoulder. Really good balance from the sub coming in. Left footer playing on the right-hand side, so always wants to come century and just tries to wrong foot Jope. And Jope just unable to stay like for like with the winger. No need to try to put a body on him. Karamoko's going nowhere. You get a little bit overzealous and try to win the ball. Results in a dangerous set piece for Loudoun.
Abukora stands over it again. Minutes to try and hold on to this lead. 20 minutes for Detroit City to try and earn at least a point. Abukora drives it in. Tigny was waiting for it. Feeding it ahead. Faroux had it read. He lost it. Oh, fortunate that it bounced back off of his leg. Still out of his goal, though. Shot toward the empty net by Gasso. He was cleaned out. Cole Turner with the challenge. To imagine that's a card coming for Cole Turner. That's what Detroit City is arguing right now. That was a clear open shot at an empty net, if not for that foul by Cole Turner.
Nervy moments here for if you do come off of your line, you need to be really clean and sloppy from below at the end. Rightly so. Turner should be seeing yellow for that late challenge.
Still nothing. Moments of the latest to go over and argue it with Abdou Ndiaye.
Ugo Farid, you step off of your line, just cleared this ball. No need to try to overcomplicate it and try to play out, especially with two Detroit players applying pressure.
As it stands, the 3 points would actually keep Loudoun exactly where they are in third place. In the live table, Charleston's also leading. The gap still would be 3 between Charleston and Loudoun, second and third. Cedeno. The good news for Detroit City at the moment is North Carolina's losing, so Detroit City's gap from 5th up to 4th would also remain just at 3 points. Both these teams would end this game exactly where they started this game, should this hold. Ben Mines getting ready to come on now for Loudoun. Told it'll be for Zach Ryan. At the moment, Ryan would depart with what would be the game-winning goal.
Different type of profile, Ben Mines coming into this game now. He's going to give you mobility and verticality on that top line for Ryan Martin. So you have to think, whether it is Karamoko play centrally, Ben Mines will plot to the right-hand side, or Abukura play down through the center. Again, really sloppy here from Loudoun.
Aua spinning, feeding it through. McCabe still laid out on the turf. Abukura asking for play to be stopped, and referee obliging the whistle. For now, Loudoun's going to hold that sub just in case Tommy McCabe can't continue.
Unable to get his feet underneath him here, Tommy McCabe actually finds a nice little pocket of space off of Jope's shoulder. Falls awkwardly.
And they will just keep the sub now as it was supposed to be. Ben Mines in, Zach Ryan out. Passing the captain's armband along to Tommy McCabe. So he departs with his 3rd goal of the season. It's the 3rd of the day. It would be good enough for 3 points for Loudoun.
It's off the shoulders of the really good and clever work from Aua, number 6, bottom of your screen. Notice how he just takes off when this ball gets turned over right now. And Zach Ryan doing a really good job at just playing with the secondary action. As Wheat comes across, Zach Ryan knows a little pocket of space from about 10 yards out. As a striker, you're told if you put it on target, you give yourself a chance. And Zach Ryan did just that.
Gasso continues his run down the left wing. Options in the area for Detroit City. Comes all the way through on the volley. On the less preferred foot of Cedeno, still struck it well.
Exactly what you want if you are Danny Dicchio, especially where Cedeno's arriving right on top of that 18-yard box. as a nightmare to defend. Unable to get clean contact and really put Farouk under some pressure. It is Karamoko that plays centrally for Loudoun United. So you have Ben Mines and Abdel Latif Abukura on either side of him. Really attacking-minded wingers to see this game out for Ryan Martin.
Abukura. Back to Velo. Overlap from Awua. Sent that way. Karamoko calling for it centrally. Awua tries to cut it back, bouncing around. Velo centering. Abukura trying to make something out of it. Now it's off for the races the other way. Cedeno, 3v4. Now a fourth joins the fold. 4v4 here for Detroit City. Fed through for Gasso. 2 targets in the box. Gasso waiting. Cedeno lays it off. Jope set it up. Awua poked it away.
Cedeno wants his ball back, and he's right. He has not even beaten. If Jope just picks up his head and pops it right into the 18-yard box, it's a 1v1 for Cedeno with Farouk.
Abukura did well to get his body between the ball and the player. Draw the foul.
Come see what's trending on Karamo. He has deleted 1,938 texts in the last 30 days. See what's taking over everybody's feed all season on Karamo.
Weekdays at 3 on DCW 50.
Into a hydration break here in this second half. It was a hydration break in the first half that really sparked Loudoun. Even after going down a goal, they never really found any sort of momentum in the attacking half. It was Detroit City still controlling the chances. So you wonder now what's said and what changes and what tweaks could be made by either manager, whether it's Ryan Martin on the Loudoun side or Danny Dichio on the Detroit City side, to impact the final quarter hour of this one.
If you're Ryan Martin and Loudoun United, you're challenging your side to continue to get that fourth, especially with the subs that he's brought on. Ben Mines coming in on the right-hand side gives you verticality. So don't be surprised if we see them play a little bit more direct and try to fight for second balls higher up the field. And for Detroit City and Danny Dichio, it's simple. You need to play the ball into Darren Smith. You need to get him involved. Leading goal scorer on the season with 7, and number 7 right now on your screen. So his relationship with Jasil Cedeno to see this game out, if they can get in a rhythm and comfortable off of one another, they can cause some issues.
That signing has certainly paid off for Detroit City. 7 goals and 11 starts. Signed a 2-year deal ahead of this season. His first time playing in the U.S. Spent 5 years in South Africa, 3 years in Finland. And the last 2 years in the Finland top tier of football with FC Inter, had 28 goals and 72 appearances, Darren Smith. A lot of these international signings, or rather I should say some of them, don't necessarily pan out. Just because you had success at one of those levels in Europe, one of the mid-tier levels, I'd say, in Europe, place like Finland or Sweden, we see it across the board. Doesn't mean you're going to come here into USL and immediately snap into action with your team. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. They have not wasted any time. Darren Smith, from the jump, you could see he's going to fit this Detroit City team like a glove, and that he has.
It's Darren Smith's movement that really sets him apart for Detroit City. He's a player, especially in around that 18-yard box. His timing is to perfection and loves to play off the blind side and just pop up when it's needed. So getting him service through Danny Dichio will be top priority to see this game out.
Mines centering, looking for Karamoko. Wheat clears, not far enough. Chance still alive here for Loudoun, chipped through. On the volley, blocked in front. Abukura does well to knock it out for a throw so they can keep the pressure up here at least.
Just no real need here from Keegan Tingy to hit this first time. he has time and space to take a first touch to collect himself and open up an angle to get a better look at the goal. Just rushes his shot here, Keegan Tingy.
Reese Williams replaces Matt Sheldon. Montez Diouf replaces Ben Morris. 2 more changes for Detroit City now, chasing this 1-goal deficit.
Now entering the match, number 2, Reese Williams. And number 32, Montez Diouf.
All subs brought to you by Segra. To play. Zach Ryan's goal in the 64th minute, holding up still as the winner. Space down this right side for Williams. It's fed that way. Reese Williams, his first touch just since subbing on. Williams cuts through. Defended well by Awua. Drops it back for Cedeno. Not on the same page. Williams wanted that ball played through to the end line. Jessiel Cedeno saw more of a give and go moment, and it's given away.
Reese Williams coming to this game is going to give Danny Dicchio a really big wide presence, and especially with the quality of service that he can provide from his right midfield position. So bottom of your screen, continuing to put pressure like this.
Williams keeps it alive. Williams patient. Hyman able to get it clear. Out to Velo.
We're seeing Loudoun United elect to shift into a 4-4-2 flat formation. So it gives you a little bit more foundation, especially defensively for Ryan Martin. Awua will play left back. In front of him will be Florian Velo. And the 2 center midfielders will be Nyman and Tommy McCabe. Keegan Tingy in right back position. And Ben Mines slotted as right midfielder line. So you have 2 banks of 4 to see this game out.
Villanueva. That's been the interesting stray in this second half for Detroit City. They haven't seen as much of the ball, but when they have, it's come down this near side instead of Villanueva, who controlled things down the left side the entire first half for Detroit City. Diouf keeping it alive. Whistle, though, goes against the visitors, and now changes for Loudoun. Moses Nyman departing, as is Abdelatif Abukora, who leaves with a brace today. They were down 1-0, Loudoun, then he scored twice.
Just the way that he takes his goals phenomenally. 1v1, aggressive, and just how quickly he gets his shot off, just unstoppable. No chance for Saldana to get set. That was his first goal. And the second goal, even better here from Abukora. Florian Veloz peels off, that pulls out. Shane Wheaton allows a lot of space. First touch, pops it up and just smashes this thing. Head down, laces through this ball, and that first touch is intentional to generate enough power to wrong foot Saldana, and the little dip, technique to perfection for Abukura and his brace.
These 2 changes for Loudoun indicate they're obviously trying to just lock it down here. Robbie Dambrock comes in, he'll slot in somewhere on that back line, you'd imagine, whether it's out on the flank or tucked inside to be determined. Skundrich coming in, defensive midfielder by trade. Here he is, middle of the park. They briefly went to a 4-back. They'd be going back to a 5-back here with 2 defensive midfielders and just keeping everybody behind the ball now.
Really smart sub here from Ryan Martin. Drew Skundrich is going to give you a presence centrally. Expecting Detroit City to play a lot of direct balls to see this game out, so that midfield battle and fighting for second balls will be crucial to see who takes the points here.
And there you see a clear look at it. That 5-back now for Loudoun with Dambra on the outside, Awua slotting inside. Cedeno.
Really important for Detroit City as you're playing against the 5-back to make the field as wide as you possibly can. So Reese Williams, bottom of your screen, you want him to have his heels on the touchline and be as aggressive as he can. Villanueva opposite, so you can allow Daniel pockets of space and Jope centrally.
Going for goal here. It's his Diouf. Does just stay in the yard off the top of the fence. Keep it. Run. Don't tell anybody. No, 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 no.
Just put it behind your
All
back.
right, he did the right thing.
Good toss, though, to be fair.
It was really good, yeah. Well done on both the toss and the honesty.
A+.
I mean, if he wants to select ball, he can
the player's
find
choice.
one. Player's choice and the fan's choice. Michael Bryant tied it at 2 in the early going of this second half for Detroit City. Now they give it away. Space for Diouf. Chased down by Awua. That's his Diouf, lays it off. Cedeno on his preferred left foot. Lays it off, wants it back. Cutting inside instead, Williams. Clean in the eyes of the referee. Skundrich put in the tackle. Mensah. The unfortunate moment where he saw that third goal for Loudoun go between his legs as he tried to clear it. Tough break for him after a terrific goal line clearance he had in the first half and a massive sacrificial sellout block he had in the second half as well. He netted himself 2 goals saved before the one that he allowed in. So he's still +1 on the day, but Detroit City's -1, down 3-2. Played in toward Diouf. He finds it over his shoulder somehow. They don't have any time or space to react, though, with Farouk crashing in. Farouk goes to ground now.
Great recognition here for Farouk to see this ball lifted over the top of this back line of Loudoun United. And as Danny Dicchio has elected to bring in Reese Williams, again, it's just affording Cedeno some pockets of space to get on the ball a little bit more often and pull the strings. But I just want you to watch the momentum in the decision-making of Farouk here. Once he does commit to come off of his line, he needs to make a play on this ball, and he does just that. Great goalkeeping from Loudoun United.
Keep this all in mind as it pertains to stoppage time coming up in a few moments. They battled here at Detroit City, and it just goes back to that conversation we were having in the first half where, sure, it's 7 winless in all competitions right now for Detroit City, but given who they've played, given the circumstances, given how they've played, nothing really to hang their heads about, even though it maybe is a discouraging stretch. They might be a few minutes away from falling to 0-5-3 since April 26, but they've been in it for Danny Dicchio. They have a lot of home games coming up. And it seems, again, just very different than what we've seen elsewhere in the league. It seems like they're coming out of this and can come out of this better for it on the opposite side. They're still in 5th place because of their great start to the season. Very different than the winless streak that cost Antonio Nocerino his job and a fruitless drought that cost Gavin Glinton his job elsewhere. We're in that time of the year now where coaching changes are coming more frequently in the league as teams are looking to make that run in the summer. Doesn't feel like that's the case here for Detroit City. They've been right on top of things, and you would back them to come out of this in a big way at some point soon.
There's a true identity for Danny Dicchio and this Detroit City side. This roster is too good to continue to drop points, and they've been in every single game in 2025. It's just those little minute details that they need to clean up. And again, it has to go back to the basics for Detroit City. You have to outwork teams. You have to stay in unison in everything that you do. If you're going to be a high-pressing team, all 11 players need to go with you. If you're going to drop down and be a low bunker team, how tight can your lines be? Those are the little things that continue to lack for Detroit City and Danny Dicchio. But again, Joe, I agree with you. There's just no real sense of panic because the talent is there, the experience is there, and it's a matter of when they get out of this little rut.
the other side, Loudoun has been in a total rut against Detroit City ever since Detroit City came into USL Championship in 2022. 6 previous meetings, 4 Detroit City wins, 2 draws. Loudoun has never beaten this team. They're on the brink of doing that for the first time. And they've never really been close either in those 6 games. Previously, in those 6 matchups, outscored 14-4 by Detroit City. Almost doubling that goal total against Detroit City today with 3. Played in, dangerous ball, Diouf crashing. Faroux goes down again. He did enough to punch it out of danger. 90 minutes come and gone. Stoppage time is 7 here tacked on at the end. Reese Williams.
Good ball.
Dangerous ball. Just beyond Amu Mensah on the redirect by Keegan Tingy. Stoppage time brought to you by Novak. Novak's energy-saving tips are a real game changer.
It's an ongoing theme for Detroit City. Once this ball goes wide, there's just only one presence and around that 18-yard box. It's a good ball in from Reese Williams. Devin Amu Mensah needs to do a better job at just crashing towards that far post.
Better ball that time for Williams again. Amu Mensah. A piece of it at least, but nothing more. Dambrot. Skundrich. Tingy. Awua.
Who's done a really good job in this second half. Been really aggressive on both sides of the ball, very comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's really become a player that Ryan Martin can really rely on within his performances and his consistency.
All the way back to Saldana. There really hasn't been much for Saldana to do today by way of any spectacular saves that he's had to come up with. He's been beaten 3 times. There were 2 shots on target that were saved by defenders, and then one that he made the save on of the 6 shots on target for Loudoun United. Almost halfway through the 7 minutes of stoppage time. Here's another example today of why you can always use expected goals as a tool, but never just put total blind faith into it. This is a 5-goal game. The XG for Loudoun, 1.06. For Detroit City, 0.39. So expected goals have us right around 1.5, and we've seen 5 go in today. Always used as a tool and never 100%.
This Detroit City bench is going crazy, saying that there was an extension of the arm that catches Reese Williams as he makes his run into the 18-yard box. Frustration through and through for Danny Dicchio and company.
Roughly 3 minutes remaining for them to try and find an equalizer. At this point, with 3 minutes to go, down a goal, it doesn't seem like their winless drought is ending, barring a miracle here. The best they could do at this point is salvage a draw that would feel like a win, given the way this has gone. Started with Detroit City on top 1-0. 2 goals for Loudoun, put them up 2-1. Detroit City equalized in the 52nd. Loudoun took the lead in the 64th through Zach Ryan, and it stayed that way ever since. Bryant. Just a miss hit from Bryant. And Mines, he's brought down. This will give them an opportunity to kill some clock more than anything else now. And don't be surprised once they take the free kick if it's just a pass toward the corner and they keep it there.
Just inexperience here from the youth. No need to come through the backside of Ben Mines. You see Michael Bryant's reaction right there, frustrated because he has him beat. He has him right there. He can just step in and put a challenge in. But as you become a little bit overzealous, now you allow Loudoun United to take their sweet time and continue to drain the clock to pick up these 3 points.
Below to Aua. And they play a 2-man game here down in the corner. And Below ends up going centrally. He had an opportunity to just go straight to the corner. Will that come back to bite them? They did all that work, and he had a clear release to the corner, and then he gave it away. Senseless from a veteran. Now the other way. Turf Monster got Villanueva and slowed him down. Otherwise, Florian Below would have been in the crosshairs for what was just simply a wrong decision in the moment.
Unable to get his feet, Villanueva underneath him. Seemed like he was about falling for the last 10 yards there.
Slow motion, movie-esque fall from Villanueva.
What a ball that is from Faru as well. Right on the chest of, and brought from about 60 yards away.
So one last chance here for Detroit City. 20 seconds remaining of the 7 minutes added. Aaron Smith has been a non-factor since subbing on. Rare day where he didn't get the start for this Detroit City side. Mines doing the wise thing here. Mines back toward the corner. There's the final whistle. For the first time in club history, Loudoun United take down Detroit City FC. They were winless in 6 previous meetings, 0-4-2. The day where Abdelatif Abukora is once again the hero. A brace gets him to 10 goals on the season, but it's Zach Ryan's winner that reigns supreme in the end. We're back in a moment to wrap things up from Segra Field. A big 3 points for Loudoun United, keeping them in 3rd place.
Super serving the DMV means covering the entire DMV.
Weather with a regional approach so you know what's moving in and where the action will be.
And most importantly, so you know when it's getting serious. DMV First Warn Days on DC News Now means you need to be weather aware.
So you can prepare, plan, and keep your family safe.
DC News Now, super serving the entire DMV. Get your forecast at dcnewsnow.com.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
3-2 win for Loudoun over Detroit City. I'll take you back to the highlights. And remember, where's Detroit City getting on the board first on the road?
Really good recognition here from Ben Morris, just to read the spin of this ball and anticipate to beat Turner to the spot. Really good technique as well on the finish as he just changes his run. Notice how he just slows himself down to get himself square, to hit it really hard and low. No chance for Peru. Detroit City take their early lead here on the road.
And from that point on, they really still were in control until the hydration break, and everything changed last 10 minutes of that first half for Loudoun.
You start to find some success for Loudoun United. Abukora peels out wide, so that allows him a little bit of space to just go 1v1. He brings in not one, but two other Detroit City players. The quickness of his release, really difficult to save for Saldana.
Here is the save of the match presented by Segra. When this is your save of the game for Hugo Farou, you know you really weren't tested too much. The opportunities were few and far between for Detroit City, able to capitalize on two of them, but not much else for Farou.
It's a good shot from Detroit City, but from distance, an easy save for Farou. And right before halftime, Loudoun United score a fantastic goal. Warren Below peels out, Shane Wheat comes across, and this first touch for Abukora sets him up for success, pops it up to himself, so it's able just to run into it and just put his laces through this ball and rope it. No chance for Saldana. Technique to perfection to get his brace and to give Loudoun the lead going into halftime.
A reminder, appreciate it, because it might not be in USL Championship for much longer for Abukora beyond this season. Quickly in the early going of the second half, you get the equalizer from Detroit City.
A little bit of a tussle between Zach Ryan and Michael Bryant, but Michael Bryant doing a nice job of just getting back to his feet quickly and letting the momentum do its thing. He just needs to guide it into that far post. 2-2, Detroit City have some life right after halftime.
But then it was Zach Ryan, who's been the victim of some bad luck this year, doing a lot of the dirty work, but not really having anything to show for it on the score sheet. Just 2 goals for a player who's had 10 each of the last 2 seasons. Well, he gets his third today, and it proved to be a winner.
Give credit to Awul. He's the one who creates this goal first with his work rate and then his decision-making. Wheat's going to come across, so that allows Zach Ryan a nice little pocket of space, and you have to get yourself into a dangerous area as a striker. You don't hit it as clean as you would like, but you put it on target, and you find the back of the net. That's 3 goals for Loudoun, and that is 3 points that stay here at Segra Field.
Depending on results elsewhere, it might not move them anywhere. Right now, Charleston's winning on the road against Hartford, so it would keep them in third. Silver lining for Detroit City is they started in 5th, and then they end the day in 5th as well. So not much movement going on here, but Loudoun within striking distance of the top of the table.
And if you're Danny Dicchio, you have to be somewhat, you can take some positives from this match. You didn't play your best football, but you still made it really difficult against a top team in the Eastern Conference. And with that winless run that you're on, you're still sitting in 5th place. So Detroit City too early to press the panic button. But for Ryan Martin and Loudoun United continuing to get better as 25 progresses.
Now these two teams meet again in the regular season and may very well meet again in the postseason. It's Loudoun prevailing today for the first time ever against Detroit City. 0-4-2 previously. They take all 3 points today. This was the first of 12 games in USL Championship this evening. There are 6 others you could flip around to right now. For the crew that makes this possible, broadcast partner Ricky Lopez Espin, I'm Joe Malva saying so long for now. Loudoun takes it 3-2 over Detroit City.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.